In this video, let's talk about the different ways that we can change material inside of Revit. There are a couple of ways that we can change material inside of Revit, and it relates back to the hierarchical system that we talked about that Revit has. So let's see what that all means. So if I go to the Manage tab, and there is a place where it says Object Styles, and if you click on that, it shows you all of the categories that's available inside of Revit. Now let's say if I wanted to see the category of doors, I have that particular category here, and also next to that there is a column where you can change the material of this particular category. If I change the material here, if I click on this and I can select some of these through the material browser, if I change that material, what happens is that all of the doors, not only one type but every single door in Revit will change its material to whatever I select here, which is not something that you really want to do that often. So that's the main way that you can change material inside of Revit, by going to Object Styles and changing the material, which affects that particular category. Every single door that you have will change if you change the material here. So I'm going to cancel off that. I'm not going to do that. Then there is another way that you can change material. So for example, if I move here, let's add a wall, a basic wall. This is an interior wall. So previously we looked at how we can change the structure of this wall type that we created. Similarly, you can go to edit type and go to the structure, edit, and we can change the material. Now here the material, it says gypsum wallboard. I can click this small three dotted icon and I can change that interior finish to something else. So let's say I don't want this particular, if I go to the appearance tab, I can change the color here. So if I don't want this particular color to be the plaster color, I could change that, and that would affect the entire type. So let's say, for example, if I had this particular interior wall as the interior wall of all of my walls, if I change the material, if I change the color of that particular material, that particular type would get affected, and all of the walls that had that particular type would change its color to whatever material that I select here. That is the second way of changing materials of elements inside of Revit. The third way is an instance level modification, which is basically you're changing just this particular instance of a wall. Now we looked at this in the cottage example as well. What we can do is we can go to the modify panel and go to this paint icon, and we can paint this particular wall, and that would only affect this wall segment. None of the other walls will get affected, just this particular wall will get affected. So let's say if I want to change it to say concrete, I can go in and add a concrete finish here, and as you can see, the wall changed to concrete. Now this change that I made, it's gonna only affect this wall segment. It doesn't affect any of the other walls. This is especially helpful when you're trying to add different kinds of materials inside of a building. So it's basically painting the face of a material. So there are three ways of adding material. One is to change the category, the material of the category. That affects for example, if you change the material of the door category, it affects every single door that you have in your building. If you go to the type level modification, it affects only that particular type of door. So for example, let's say if I had a 36 by 84 door, and I wanted to change that particular type, I can go into edit type and change the material, so that it would change every single door of that particular type. Then we can also change at an instance level by painting a surface. It's very similar to what we see in real life, like when you go and paint the surface of a wall. This is what happens. So you can use the paint tool to do that. So those are the ways that we can add material. In the next video, let's take a look at what kind of materials are available inside of Revit, and how we can change certain materials, how we can add materials into our Revit project.